Welcome everybody to another IAPC&M CPD and Business Building webinar. I'm Dawn Campbell, your host, and today in the hot seat we have the lovely Cindy Schulson from Canada, but living in sunny California. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, Dawn.
So today's call is a 30-minute presentation from Cindy, followed by a 30-minute Q&A. So plenty of time for everybody to get their questions in. But please do use the chat box, put your name, say where you're from, and we'll make sure all your questions are answered at the end. So Cindy is an international worker, having experienced and lived and worked in 5 countries, but don't test her language skills. Sounds a bit like me, really. She is the founder of Marketing from Within, great title, and she works with coaches and top brands such as Coca-Cola and Visa, which is exactly the sort of brand that we all want to achieve, that top of mind awareness every solopreneur aspires to. So grab your pad and pen, and I'll hand over to Cindy now, and let's learn. Thank you, Cindy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's see if we'll go ahead. You should be able to see this. Let me know if you can see that okay. Can everybody see that?
Not yet.
No? That's always fun, eh? All right, hang on. Back we go. Sorry, you guys. We're going to try this one more time. Share. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Okay, here we go. So now you should be able to see it, and then I'll go into presentation mode.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see it now? Yes, all right, thank you, Dominique, wonderful. Okay, so welcome you guys. I'm gonna be doing a training for you on how to create a coaching package that sells itself. And we're gonna go on a little journey together here today. In order to create a coaching package that sells itself, there are 3 key steps that we're gonna go through. The first is how to attract clients authentically, how to get consultations, and how to turn those consultations into clients. And ultimately, the goal is to really be able to have a coaching package that sells itself so you can help more people, you can earn more income. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Dawn, but I have a little bonus thank you gift for being with me here today, which is a training on how to turn your coaching into multiple streams of income. So I'll share with you how to get that at the end.
Yeah.
So who is this for? This is for coaches and consultants. It doesn't mean that you're a beginner, and it doesn't mean whether have been in business for a long time. What's really important, and what I focus on in the training, is for people who want to get really good at the strategy behind the marketing. What happens so often is that we get excited by the tactics, you know, those bright, shiny objects that we're constantly chasing after, the latest new cool tool or new launch strategy or whatever the case might be. And what happens is that if we don't have a solid strategy, a strategic foundation in place, those tactics don't work. So I give you the image of a tree because it's like if you don't have a strong trunk, which is your strategic foundation, and then you hang all these branches off of it, which are all the tactics we chase after, your whole thing's going to collapse. And that's what happened to me when I first started my coaching business in 2008. And that's what I've seen happen to so many coaches. So that's my goal here, is to help you get really good at the strategy so that no matter what tactic you use, you'll actually get results. And as I said, it's not just for beginners. I don't know how, I'd love to know actually, if you can go to the chat and let me know, how long have you been, had a coaching business? I'd love to just kind of get a read on that. If you could just put it in the chat. And when you go in the chat, you can type in everyone so that everybody could see it. So we have 18 years, 6 years, 23 years. Wow, we have a really experienced group of people here. Anybody else want to share? 5 years, 11 years, amazing. Amazing, 40 plus years. Wow, okay, you guys are experienced. So, and some people are just beginning. That's okay. Caroline, just less than a year. Okay, so that's okay, because I'm so sorry for my cough again, you guys. So this really is not just for beginners, because here's what I've learned in working with coaches over the past 10 years. First of all, if you've been doing a lot of marketing and not getting the results you want, it's typically because some pieces of the strategic foundation are not quite gelling. And then a lot of clients come to me because they're either rebranding, which is a great thing. We always want to be evolving. I went through a rebrand 2015, and it was wonderful because your message evolves, your brand evolves. And a lot of the clients who come to me, and that's especially true now, want to start growing their business online. And it is a different platform. So it's, you know, we take the things that worked for us offline, we can adapt them, but there are different rules of the game, if you will. And it makes it, it's definitely a lot, you have to be a lot clearer and sharper and more intentional online than you can be offline. So we'll talk about that as we move forward. So everything that I share with you here is really about building trust. And I think online, that's especially important for a few reasons. Number one, there are so many more people, so much more noise online. And number two is that there's so much more hype online. And so we're going to talk today as we go through these steps about how to establish trust. Now, quick introduction, why should you trust me? Well, first of all, I have been working with coaches for 10 years. I'm not one of these pop-up coaches. And I have the image of the ripple because that's why I love working with coaches. When I can help you, you can help so many more people get your message heard. And Dawn mentioned I have worked with companies before in my corporate life, actually, like Coca-Cola, Visa, global consulting firms. And above all, really what I'm here to do is to take a stand against all of the hype. To be totally transparent with you, it was about 2 years ago, after having done this work for a long time, I felt like I was done. I was so tired of the hype online, and I just felt like shifting gears to something else. And I remember the moment when I just said, you know what, rather than like, let it defeat me, I'm just going to take a stand against it. And that's when I came up with what I like to talk about, which is marketing with heart versus hype. And not only does it feel better, but when you put your marketing out there with integrity in a way that honors you and the people that you're here to serve, it really allows you to attract clients who don't just want that quick fix, who don't want the flash, but people who truly value not just what you do, but who you are. And it allows you to stand out above the noise and build rewarding relationships with your potential clients, with strategic partners. So that's what I stand for in my business, and the marketing that I'm going to share with you today embodies that. So I'll share what I've learned from my 20 years of marketing experience, 10 corporate, 10 in my own business, what I've used to grow my business, what I've used with my own clients. And as Dawn knows, there's nothing for sale here. If you want to have a conversation with me, you can just go to sessionwithcindy.com and schedule a time. Just a quick note, I usually have a very booked calendar. So if you cannot find a time, best thing is to just email me, cindy@marketingfromwithin.com, and let me know. Find me on Facebook. I'm actually the only Cindy Schulson on Facebook, which I have to thank my husband for. So you can reach out to me. Okay, so let's dig in and talk about how to attract clients authentically. So we mentioned before that too many coaches get caught up in the fancy tactics that frankly are often overly complicated and unnecessary. And the number one reason that coaches struggle so much with their marketing is because they don't have the clarity that they really need about their message. And this is actually what I'm most known for, is messaging. It's what I worked in strategic communications my whole career. And when I talk about, a clear message, we'll break down, what goes into a message in just a minute, but we talked about trust. So how does a clear message help you build trust? Well, when you can speak directly to your ideal client and show them how you can support them, how you can help them get the results that they want without all the hype, that immediately establishes a level of connection. And if you do it right, if your message is really what I talk about, being true to your voice as well, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, then you can create that relationship of trust or start to build it. And it's so important when you're online. When you're offline, you have the time and space to be able to explain to people what you do. But online, you have seconds, maybe 3 seconds. If somebody lands on your website and you don't immediately grab their attention and let them know you're speaking to them and you have a solution that can help them, they're gone. So we have to be really, really focused and clear. So I put together this little litmus test if you guys want to have some fun with me, just to see where you're at with your message. So if you want to play with me, then just see out of 10, and I'd love for you to share in the chat, which of these criteria does your message meet? Is it focused? Does it speak directly to your ideal client? Is it relevant? Does it address what they want? Oftentimes we're in our own heads as the experts and we don't know how to connect with where our ideal clients are in their heads. Is it tangible? Does it focus on clear results? Is it clear? No jargon. Is it concise? A lot of times I see a lot of long rambling messages and it dilutes the power of your message. Does it connect with the hearts and minds of your ideal clients? Is it unique? Does it sound like everybody else who does what you do? Is it authentic? Does it speak your truth? Does it inspire people to learn more? And is it passionate for you? Does it ignite a spark in you when you share it? So who wants to play? Can you just go and like write down how many of these out of 10 would you say your message meets? Anybody gonna play with me? Let's see. Okay, Louise, I appreciate that. Oh, Dawn said all 10, excellent. 50%, okay. Wonderful, thank you, Betska. 5, okay, great. Great, so we have a good start and we have some room to grow. 4, okay, thanks, Katie. Thank you, Dominique. Okay, wonderful. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about how to create this message. Good job, Julia. Oh, is it Julia? I can't see, sorry. So we have to get our message clear before we start marketing. And here's why. I like to think of marketing as just sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. So if you don't know what your message is, it's really hard to make your marketing work. So that's why we need clarity first. And to create a clear message, you first have to have clear focus. And this is really what we're talking about with the niche. And I know we hear a million times about coaching niche, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Just to understand, there's 2 pieces of your niche, your who and your what. Who do you help? What do you help them with? And I take a different approach to niche if anybody's struggling with it. I'm so sorry. Also, first of all, remember when you're offline, you don't need to be quite as clear and focused as when you're online with your marketing in order to really connect with your niche, because you have to, again, captivate them instantly and know where they hang out online. So it's really important to be more focused. And when I help my clients with their niche, and again, I have clients who've been doing this business for 30, 40 years, and they want to come online and they realize they're not quite as focused as they need to be to really stand out and to build a leveraged business. So we start by looking within you. Rather than just choose an ideal client and figure out what they want, we really start by looking within you at your strengths, your experiences, and really figure out how to leverage everything you bring to the table in a way that you're passionate about. So really, to me, it's about building your business from a place of strength and passion. So, and again, we can take questions at the end if you like. I know there's usually a lot of questions about niche. Once you have that clear focus, you're really clear about who you help and what you help them do, it's only then that you can start creating a clear message. I often find when I look at coaches' messages, the clarity is not there yet. And so they're trying to weave these words together, but if there's not the clarity, it doesn't matter how beautiful your words are, it's not going to really land. So I advise you to really get clear and focused first on who exactly you help and what you help them with, and then you'll be able to start creating your message. But your message has a really big job to do. It has to say who you help, what you help them with, the results you help them achieve. That's the basic. And as I said before, offline, you have time to explain, online, you have seconds. But if you stop there, if that's all that your message does, you're going to blend in with the crowd because there's lots of people who do what you do. So here's what we have to remember. People buy on emotion and justify with logic, which means that your message has to connect with the hearts and the minds of your ideal clients. But here's the key. In order to do that, you need to put your heart and your mind in your message. So the typical marketing message is just strictly from the head. It's very linear, very logical. And that's where most coaches stop. What I help my clients do is put together what I call your core message. This is the heart piece. This is what you stand for, such as marketing with heart versus hype. It's a stand you're here to take in your business. And you need to be able to articulate that, and you want to infuse it in everything that you do, including in your message. So what we do is we artfully combine your core message, which is the heart, with the marketing message, which is the head, to create a truly magnetic message, one that connects with the hearts and minds of your ideal clients, but also speaks your truth. So here's an example. One of my clients, Chris, she does healing work, and this is her core message. When you know how to listen to your body, you can become the healer you've been searching for. And then we infuse that in the marketing message, and I apologize, the chat's blocking it, so I can't quite read it. But I think it says, I teach men and women who struggle with ongoing aches and pains to heal themselves so they can enjoy the activities they love. Something like that. I can't quite see it. But we take the heart piece and combine it with the head piece. This is another client. This is another example. This is a client, Eileen. She had been in business for many years. She had a successful business, but she wanted to come online. And she realized that in order to do that, she had to rebrand. She wanted to get her work out in a bigger way. We came up with the brand Find Body Freedom, and we created her magnetic message. So again, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business for. If you're coming online, you need to have greater clarity and really be able to connect with your ideal clients with your message. Okay, so we've talked about being able to create that message. And now let's talk about, once you have clarity around your message, how do you use that message to get more consultations? Well, the easiest place to start is always with your inner circle. Those are people that you already have a relationship of trust with. So that could be your, past clients, it could be colleagues, friends, etc. And one layer out could be your strategic partnerships. So people who have access to the same ideal clients as you that offer complementary solutions. So that's kind of the start of your inner circle. Referral partners would fit into that too. But as you expand outwards, you need to really work harder at building that relationship of trust. Because remember, we've heard it all before. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. So we have to build that trust with people online that we don't know. And as I said, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of noise online. So the best way to stand out from all the empty noise and to build that trust is to add real value with what we call education-based marketing. What this really means is about being generous with the value that you bring in your marketing. So there's an expression in the marketing world that says, give them what they want, then sell them what they need. I don't know if anybody's heard that before, but essentially what it means, you come on a webinar, for instance, and you tell them the what and the why, but you don't tell them any of the how. It's just fluff and pitch. And that's what's the typical format. And so what I invite you to do is to think about it differently, to give them what they want, then teach them what they need, to be really generous with the value you bring to your marketing. And I promise you, the people who really want to implement what you're teaching and get results will raise their hand and say, I want to talk to you. I want to explore how we can work together, because they will realize that true transformation doesn't just happen with information, it happens with your coaching support. So it's just a bit of a mindset shift. And I think it's something also that makes marketing feel good when you're adding real value for people. Now, in order to build a relationship of trust, you need the time and space. It doesn't just happen automatically, right? We're humans. We need to build our way up to trusting people. And that's why you always want to make sure that you're inviting people to get on your email list. Why email? Well, a lot of people really love social media. That's great. But the reality is we have no control over social media platforms. They come and go. They're constantly changing. You own your email list. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, I can never say his name. Can't take that away from you, right? Plus, when people are on your email list, you do have permission to market to them. If you start marketing to people you don't know, let's say you go into LinkedIn and start right away with a marketing message, that's not going to go over very well. So you need to build your email list. And it starts by offering a valuable, I call it a giveaway, but really it's better known as a lead magnet, right? It's a valuable free gift that you give people in exchange for their email address. And I'm sure you've signed up to a million lists and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But just to clarify, it is not a newsletter. People want instant gratification. And unless you're really already very famous, most people aren't going to be incentivized enough just to sign up for a newsletter. They want that instant gratification. And it can't be something that's live, like a webinar is not like we call evergreen. It's not something that people can get at any time. It's also not a consultation, because that, frankly, is an investment of your time. You want to be able to get like thousands of people on your email list. You don't have that kind of time to give people. And also you don't want to really spend your time with people who might not be a good fit for you. So it's not these things. So we need to really choose the right format, such as an ebook, a checklist, a template, a video, a quiz, an assessment. You know, I have a free brand message template as an example on my website. So you want it, but you have to make it valuable. So you have to choose the right format, but you also have to choose the right topic. And the right topic is really, really important, because you want to build a targeted list of your ideal clients. And so we have to understand, this is again, getting into the head of your ideal client. It has to address a top of mind challenge for your ideal client. That means something your ideal client is already aware that they're struggling with and that they want help with. It can't be something that you know they need, but they don't know it yet. Because you're the expert, but you have to enter the conversation going on in their head. It has to provide real value without overwhelming people. And this is really important as well. It has to create a natural desire for your services. So it has to position your services. So checklist time, if you guys want to play again. I don't know how many of you even have a lead magnet. How many of you have a lead magnet? Just go into the chat if you could, please, and let me know. Just say yes or no. Okay, so around 50-50. So for those of you who have a lead magnet, just make sure that it meets these criteria. It helps solve a specific problem. It's a top of mind challenge. It highlights your expertise, positions your services. It should have a compelling name. It should be easy for people to consume. Instant gratification, meaning they can access it right away. Evergreen, meaning it's not time specific or event specific. It looks professional and it inspires people to take action. So I won't make you do the checklist and put it in there since only around half of you have it. But as you're creating your lead magnet, keep these things in mind. Now, good news is you don't even need a website for the most part, just a great landing page. There are exceptions. I'm working right now with an insurance broker. He definitely needs a website. People are going to check him out. I'm working with a doctor. She needs a website. Like there's certain industries that are much more credibility specific, if you will. People will check out your website. But for a lot of coaches, you can definitely get started with just a great landing page. So a landing page, it's like think about it as like a one-page website. It has one call to action. Get my free gift. That's it. No distractions. So I want to share a few examples with you. So this is these are some landing pages I've helped some of my clients with. And there are certain elements you can include. You can see there's where it says after 20 or more years of marriage. That's what we call a pre-headline. That lets people know who you're talking to. So she's clearly talking to couples who've been married for 20 years. Do you start arguing when you try to talk to your spouse? So the headline has to grab their attention. Like, oh, that's a problem I have, or that's a result that I want. And then there's just some bullets and a clear call to action. This is another client, not the doctor. I'm working with 3 doctors right now. It's very interesting. Doctor coaches. This is a woman, Michelle Bailey, who helps doctors earn income outside of clinical practice, so kind of shift their career. And so we created this free guide about 10 ways to leverage your, I can't even read it, medical degree, I think, and use your expertise in a different way. Very simple, headline, clear benefit, call to action. That's it. Here's another one from a client, Alicia, relationship coach. Again, headline, some bullets about results. You can add a graphic if you want. That's just her ebook cover. Clear call to action button. So honestly, I helped her do this in like 20 minutes. We just banged out the copy and the technology. It's not hard. What's important is you have the right topic and that you have some really good copy. Copy just means the words that you say are right. Okay. Now I want to give you a little bonus tip. After people opt into your email list, they automatically get taken to what we call a thank you page. Everybody's going to see this page, so you want to use it wisely. And I'm not going to be able yet, because I have to teach you the next step first, to tell you how to do that. But I'm going to teach you that in the 3rd step. But you want to use this wisely to actually get consultations with people who are excited to work with you. And if you want to see, is it okay if I share a link, Dawn? Dawn, is it okay if I share a link?
Absolutely.
Just nod. Is it okay? Okay, thank you. If you go to my website, marketingfromwithin.com, you get my brand message template. You'll see this in action. On my thank you page, you'll see I have a video set up and invite people to a consultation. And it's what's in that video that's very strategic, which we'll talk about in a minute, that gets me constant email requests, consultation requests, a flow of them, because of what I'm strategically using on that thank you page. And you can do that too. So let's move on and we'll talk about how to turn consultations into clients. So we've talked about, creating the right message so you're captivating your ideal clients. We're talking about building a relationship of trust with them through your marketing, starting with your lead magnet. We're talking about getting consultations right away, right from your thank you page. And of course, there are other ways to get consultations too. We talked about starting with your warm market, your inner circle, and then expanding outwards, building that trust. But what happens when you get a consultation? Are you are they becoming clients? And this is another big sticking point. A lot of coaches do great on the discovery part, right, of the consultation. But when it comes time to make the offer of how you can help people, this is where people kind of freeze. And the truth is, coaching is really intangible. So it can be difficult to really communicate your value clearly. And also, there's a lot of coaches out there. So how do you stand out? How do you inspire confidence? How do you build trust? The other challenge for a lot of coaches is that they basically sell their time. They'll sell a session or a few sessions. And what happens is that they're constantly chasing after clients, or they often undercharge. So what is the solution? Well, you've probably been told, well, don't sell your time, sell a coaching package. And I agree. That's why this webinar is called How to Create a Coaching Package That Sells Itself. But most coaches, when you look at their coaching packages, and I literally just did a Google search and got these off the internet, these are actual packages coaches are selling. What are they selling? They're still selling their time. 6 months, 6 sessions, 12 sessions, whatever the case might be, you're still just selling your time. So what we want to do is, instead of selling your time, we want to sell the result. And I'm sure you've heard that before. Sell the result, not your time. But here's the thing. You have to be able to prove it. It's one thing to say, I'm going to help you get this result. It's another thing to build trust and confidence that you can help them achieve that result. So how do you do this? How do you sell something intangible that builds trust, that lets you stand out from all the other coaches, that lets you stop selling your time, that lets you charge your true value? The answer is really simple, actually. It's what I call your client journey. Think about your client journey as the steps you take with your clients and the results you help them achieve at each step. So I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. So when you sell this coaching journey, client journey, when you're on a consultation with your potential client and you describe clearly and concisely your client journey, it makes what you do more tangible. They see a success path, which gives them more confidence that you can actually help them get results. It also lets you stand out as a trusted expert because you have your own unique client journey. So it boosts your credibility. It differentiates you from all the other coaches out there. It also allows you to earn more income. And I'll share some examples with you in just a minute. Because when you're not selling your time, when you're truly getting paid based on the results, the true transformation you help your clients achieve, you can charge more because they see the results you're going to help them achieve. And people are willing to invest in transformation. So that's what you want to do, is when you're on a consultation, you want to sell the client journey versus the coaching. By the way, you're also going to use your client journey in your marketing, like on the thank you page that I told you about. I'm using it right now in this training, and I'll share it with you in a minute. So you're going to be able to use your client journey in your marketing and in your sales. You can even create a visual roadmap for your client journey. Here's one that one of my clients, Vincent, did. I thought he did such a beautiful job. Really clear each step and what are the results of each step. This is one of my clients, Becky. She designed this client journey, and I want to tell you something cool that happened for her. She had a client that she had been selling her time to, and when it came time for the renewal, Becky showed her the visual of the client journey. And she said, this is where you are. This is what we have left to do on the journey. And she went from selling her time, which was she wasn't charging that much, to selling a $10,000 package. That's the power of your client journey. When people can see the success path forward, they are willing to invest in the transformation. Here's mine. It's not as pretty as Becky's, but it's clear. Clarify your message, share your message, monetize your message. That's what I've been teaching you here today. This is my Marketing with Heart journey. So it's really important that you be able to clearly and concisely identify your client journey to make it easy to sell your coaching. Here's what happens. You will get more clients. Like, I'm not going to get into too much stuff here, guys. I want to get to your Q&A time, but I just want to inspire you. This is Ariella. She was pretty new. I mean, she had some clients and everything, but you know, we got clarity on the message and the client journey. She got 9 new clients. I mean, just selling that client journey makes such a big difference. Rachel, same thing, now has a full client load. But what I love most about it is it really honors your value, so you'll earn more income. This is her message with you earlier. She had only been selling her time. Once she had that client journey, she was a little like, will they buy that? They've been used to selling their, you know, their time, buying my time. No, she sold 3 high-end packages, and it was so easy because she was really clear. This is another client, Cindy. I think she has like, I don't know, 10 something years experience or more as a nonprofit consultant, but she was working really hard. So once we designed that client journey, she doubled her price of her service and instantly sold a $15,000 package. So I'm telling you, whether you're brand new or you've been doing this for a long time, it's a really powerful asset. Now, the other thing I love about it is you can take that client journey and package it in different ways with different levels of access to you at different price points and earn multiple streams of income. So we all want that leveraged income. Your client journey is the best, fastest way to do that. Like Marisa, she actually launched her pilot program based on her client journey. Pallavi also launched her pilot program based on her client journey. So once you get clear on these pieces that I'm talking to you about and build trust in every step, from your message to your marketing to your offer, you'll be able to actually increase your prices. And if you want to do leveraged income, you can absolutely do that. So a quick reminder, I do have that gift for you. I'll share with how to get that in just a minute, how to turn your coaching into multiple streams of income. There's actually 4 different kinds of income you can earn in your coaching business. So this training will take you through all 4 of those and give you some tips on each. A quick review. We want to attract clients authentically with a clear message. We want to get consultations by doing marketing that's based on building a relationship of trust, and turn those consultations into clients by sharing our client journey. Now, I know I gave you a lot of information, and I want to just ask you, what is the next step on our journey? And I want to share with you that you have to make sure that what I've shared with you here today is aligned with you, that it's tailored to you. I don't believe in cookie cutter strategies or marketing. You're unique. I mean, my business is called Marketing from Within for a reason, right? It has to be aligned with you and tailored to you. So I want to just share with you, there's a couple of ways that I can support you if you'd like to explore either of those. One is the Marketing with Heart mentoring program. Actually the testimonials that I shared with you, everybody went through this program. I'm actually starting my next group next week. So if you're interested in speaking with me about this, please reach out. We clarify your message, we share your message, and we monetize your message. Everything I shared with you today is what we do together. Step-by-step training, small group coaching. I include private coaching as well. We have built-in accountability systems, a wonderful community of support, and even some tech support. So again, we start next week. Please reach out to me. We do have 3 spots left if you're interested in doing that, okay? And by the way, I'm very proud because most online programs have a 3 to 10% completion rate. We have an 89 to 90% completion rate because we are in this together. And I do private coaching as well. So just go to sessionwithcindy.com if you're interested in exploring how I can support you. And as I said, if you can't find a time that works, please let me know because it does tend to get full. Okay. Last thing before we go into Q&A time is here is how to get your thank you gift. You just go to marketingfromwithin.com/thanks, and you'll get that instant access to that free training on how to turn your client journey into multiple streams of income. And that's it for me in terms of the training. So I'm all yours for questions. How did I do for time? I went a little over. It was 40 minutes. I apologize.
That's absolutely fine. Content.
Hi, everyone.
Content rich, which is what we wanted, Cindy. So thank you for that. Love the litmus test slides. So over to everybody else for questions. Raise your hand and unmute yourself just so that you can see who's going next.
And I'm going to type all the different links that I shared here, just so everybody has it.
And is that one to do with what you say on the contact page, Cindy? You said there was a link for how your
yes, so the first
is different.
The contact page or the thank you page? The thank you page?
Thank you page, yes.
Yeah, so they have to opt in to get that though. They'd have to go to marketingfromwithin.com, get my free brand message template, and then they'll see that. And then the thank you gift that I told you about today, there's no opt-in. You just go to marketingfromwithin.com/thanks. And then if you'd like to speak with me, you just go to sessionwithcindy.com.
Okay, thank you.
So those are all three of those links. Sure. I shared a lot, you guys, and I'm happy to answer any questions or ahas or anything that you have, because, you know, it's one thing to get the information. It's another thing to think about, how do I apply this to my business?
Well, there's lots of comments.
Thank you, Caroline. Lots to take in.
Lots of great comments here. Totally amazing. Lots to take in. Very interesting. Thank you. Given me lots to think about. Very helpful. Excellent. Yeah, very, very positive comments. But while we've got Cindy in the hot seat, and she is an expert and freely giving her time, take the opportunity now, ask her your questions. Louisa said, I'd love to get a bit clearer on my client's journey and how I go forward. I don't know if that's a question or a statement.
I've got a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, Dominique.
Go ahead, Dominique.
Yeah, so I tend to work with organisations, and yes, they will look at the website. Very often I'm going into them. I'm just wondering, in terms of broadening your clients when it's more organisational focused rather than individual focused, which I would think Facebook could be, if you had any other thoughts on that. And my cat's interested too.
So you're talking about where to reach your ideal client?
Yes, yeah, I think so. When you're trying to market, but to hopefully your ideal client, but you haven't met them yet. But organisations are often the place that where I want to land more with the leaders in those organisations.
Okay, yeah, it's important to identify who within the organization you're trying to connect with. So are you really clear on who that ideal client is?
For me, it's any organisation that has a management structure. So as soon as you've got a leadership team and then another team under that, then I work with the leadership teams, the executive teams, but then there's another layer. There's the layer of new managers, new leaders, and I like to be able to coach them and do group development for them too.
Yeah. So, Dominique, I don't know how open you are to this, but I'll just give you an example, if I may. So one of my clients, her name is Dawn, she was doing the same thing as you, and she realized, especially if she wanted to come online, to be even more clear in terms of really who her ideal client was. So we were able to map out, for instance, for her, it was executive leaders, but they were in a new level of leadership within the past few years. And that allowed her to really be targeted and focused in terms of where she was doing her marketing, both in terms of referrals in her own database, but also looking and seeing, you know, oh, when did somebody get promoted to something? So the more you can hone in on where the person is on their journey, what industries they might be in, the easier it's going to be to focus your marketing. And so just, that's a broader answer. I don't know your business well enough.
That's really helpful. Really helpful,
Okay,
actually.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. You're welcome. Thank you.
We have another good question from Caroline.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have another good question from Caroline. She says, I have a website set up already. Would you recommend actually having the client journey on the home page?
Great question, Caroline. I help my clients redo the copy on their websites all the time. And I love this question because I think that you want to really think about every page of your website has a specific job to do. And so you want to think about what is the job of each page and how do you inspire people to take that action. So for me, I would tend to use your client journey more on your services page, because the job of your services or coaching page is really to show people how you can help them get results, solve their problems, and inspire people to book a consultation. So that's where I would use that.
Okay, thank you. And Dave has a question.
Hi. Question for Cindy. Cindy, hypothetical question. I haven't heard you once mention pandemic or COVID or anything like this in terms of a changed environment in our world. What would your presentation that we just heard today look like 8 months ago compared to what it is today, and how that has influenced coaching, marketing? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I have done this presentation 8 months ago, and the only difference, to a different audience, obviously, the only difference is that there's way more people coming online now. So it's just taken everything that I teach and heightened the importance of it, because it's even more noisy online, because there's even more hype online, more competition online. So everything I teach is just amplified about being able to build trust. So it's the same thing I've been teaching for years, but just amplified in terms of the importance of it.
Okay.
And that's the same for us, David, at the IAPC&M. We used to say it's a very crowded market out there. What we're saying now is it's a very noisy digital space. Essentially, everything else has stayed the same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How are clients enduring in terms of this new market? Ultimately, the service that's provided to our coaching clients. What do you know about that, or what do others know about that in this transition in my practice? I converted all of my clients. I think I was coaching about 20 leaders and organizations. We've all gone digital and carried on and gone into group sessions and conferences and lots of different venues. Always wondering what's it like from them. What are others hearing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. For most people, I have, to be honest with you, I'm going to be real. I'm going to go on a mini rant. I promise it won't take more than 30 seconds. But when this whole COVID thing came out, a lot of the marketing gurus basically put people into fear mode and talked about how you have to pivot or your business is going to die. And there was a lot of that. And that just, to me, added to all the hype and taking advantage of people's fears. So the reality is you can adapt things, you can shift your message, but I think it's opened up tremendous opportunities for so many people. And sometimes you do have to be a little innovative. One of my clients is a music therapist for hospice, for Alzheimer's. Could you imagine? Her whole business shut down. She transformed everything online and is booming. So it's not that you have to pivot everything, you just have to adapt things to the online environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions? So I have a question for you. Of everything that I shared here today, what was a big aha that you had, or what's one thing that you're going to do differently now? Louisa, I'm awestruck. Of course, Louisa. I like her, even her photo shows that. That's awesome. Louisa, is there anything that's stumping you? Let us know. But seriously, we all attend these webinars all the time, and I don't know about you, but I always make a point that either I'm so inspired by that person, I'm going to contact them, or at the very least, what I'm going to do is take one thing and implement it, even if it's just one. So I'd like to know for you, what are you going to do? And no, Steph, I don't like Facebook ads. I hate Facebook ads. I tried it twice. I hired people. It's not my thing.
In fact, Cindy, we always end our CPD and business building webinars with 60 seconds of silence, where we reflect, because if we do our CPD log tonight or at the weekend, we've obviously lost a lot of the message. Whereas if we take away the key points in that 60 seconds before we all hang up and say goodbye, put it in the chat box if you want to share it, but put it on your CPD form, then you're more likely to do it. So perhaps we'll do that now. I've got my stopwatch, and we'll have 60 seconds quiet time. As I say, share your CPD takeaway in the chat box, or keep it private. It's entirely up to you. And it will also give you a little bit of last minute thinking time before we say goodbye to Cindy. So we'll start now. Okay, so lots of responses there, and I will share the chat box with you later, Cindy, so you've actually got a copy. But before we wrap up,
oh, thank you.
What, if any other questions, does anybody have? Remember, Cindy is hard to get hold of, much in demand. And so if you've got a question, ask it now. And if you're too embarrassed because you're shy, you can always send it by email. Lots of lovely comments. Thank you, Katie. I'm glad you feel positive. Thank you, everybody, that you're inspired and that you've felt this has been a content-rich, good time investment. Well done. Thank you. Okay, well, on that note then, yes, thank you very much, Dominique. I appreciate your comments. I love setting these up, love networking with interesting people all around the world, and meeting you guys and hearing your questions and seeing you grow over the course of your professional journey. So thank you for your support and participation. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. You know where we are if you need us, and we'll see you on the next CPD and Business Building webinar. Thank you very much for your passionate masterclass in giving a presentation, never mind the subject matter. It was excellently delivered and definitely with heart. So thank you, Cindy. Thank you,
Don. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Cindy. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.